Love is a story we tell ourselves, a story of shared mornings, whispered secrets, and a future built on trust. We believe we know every corner of it, but sometimes there are hidden chapters written in a language we never learned. The most profound truths can arrive as a sudden, blinding storm, not a gentle dawn. My love for Daniel was my anchor, the one constant in a chaotic world. I thought I knew him, his heart, his soul, his every thought. But we only know the parts of a person they choose to show us. The rest remains a mystery. We build our lives on these assumptions, never suspecting the fault lines beneath our feet. The most devastating betrayals are the quiet ones, unfolding in secret while we live a life we believe is real. Love, I learned, can be the most beautiful and the most terrifying ghost story of all. Our 9 years of marriage were a gentle rhythm. Daniel's frequent trips, my routines, our shared rituals. I never questioned his absences. His detailed itineraries and late-night calls made everything seem normal. When he was home, we cooked, gardened, and talked for hours. Our home was a sanctuary of trust. I believed in our bond, in the unspoken understanding that we were a team. His suitcase was always half-packed, and I saw his independence as a sign of our healthy relationship. There were no red flags, no moments of doubt. Our life was a placid lake. I never thought to look for what might be hidden in its depths. Sometimes the truth lies perfectly concealed within a life that seems wonderfully happy. The call came on a Friday afternoon, just as I was thinking about Daniel's return. A woman from St. Jude's Hospital told me there had been an accident. Daniel had suffered a massive heart attack while driving. My mind refused to process it. Daniel was healthy, strong, supposed to be flying home. She confirmed his identity with details only I would know. The impossible was happening. My husband of 9 years was gone. The silence in the house after I hung up was deafening. The future I had mapped out vanished in a single, brutal moment. Somehow I drove to the hospital, clinging to the hope it was all a mistake. I was about to see a body, but I had no idea an even greater shock was waiting for me there. My life had ended, but another truth was about to begin. I was unprepared for what I would find. The hospital was a tunnel of antiseptic and sorrow. A nurse led me to a waiting room where another woman sat sobbing. The nurse hesitated, then said, she also identified herself as Daniel's wife. We stared at each other, both claiming 9 and 7 years of marriage, both in shock. She had 2 children. Her pain was raw and familiar. Daniel's business trips were visits home to her. Every memory, every call, every "I miss you" was recast in a sinister new light. The foundation of my life crumbled into dust. We were 2 women who had loved the same man, living parallel lives without ever knowing. His death forced our worlds to collide. The funeral was grey and cold. I sat in the front pew, the other widow behind me with her children. We kept our distance for the sake of dignity, but we were profoundly connected. Friends spoke of Daniel's charm and kindness, every word both true and a lie. I felt detached, grieving a man I realized I never truly knew. My anger toward her dissolved. She was not my enemy, but another victim. Our eyes met, no animosity, only shared sorrow. We had both loved a man who didn't fully exist, but our love had been real. Surrounded by people who knew only half the story, we alone understood the true weight of the loss. A week after the funeral, Sarah called and asked to meet. We sat in a quiet cafe, 2 strangers bound by the same betrayal. We compared timelines, piecing together the scope of Daniel's lies. The anger and pain were no longer directed at each other. We were fellow survivors. We chose not to be enemies, but to build a fragile bridge of truth between us. We shared stories of the Daniel we knew, honoring the love that was real to us. I will never understand why he did it, but I found peace in honesty and compassion. We don't see each other often, but we know the other is there. Healing isn't about forgetting, but integrating the past into who you are now. I am a woman who was loved and betrayed, and I choose to live in peace, with the quiet strength I found in the aftermath.